My first ever travel nurse contract was canceled. It was terrifying, expensive, and I should have seen it coming. What I did after I was canceled saved my ass, and I can show you how to do the same. Plus, how you can avoid this altogether. In this video, I'm going to show you 4 things you need to know to avoid this happening. And if it's already happened, what you should do if your contract gets canceled. For my first ever contract, I got connected with a staffing agency rep online. This rep was my first step into the wild world of travel nursing. My resume was weak since I had only been a nurse for a year and a half. Typically, travel nurses start with 2+ years of experience. The rep sent a few job posts in Denver, Colorado, and remember, not all staffing agency reps are created equally. He pushed me hard into believing that it's really rare for a new travel nurse to get a contract. I will need to accept anything that comes my way, and I'll need to accept it right away or risk losing the job. I accepted the first offer I got, and within a couple days, I would be starting my first travel nurse contract 1,600 miles away. Point number 1, travel nurse staffing agents are often not your friend. They are paid if you're placed and working. They also want to get their job done with the least resistance and without you going with another staffing agency. So they will push you hard to get you there, even if they know better. It is worth mentioning, not all do this, but we need to be aware that they are all still salespeople at the end of the day. The best way to prevent them from tricking you into the wrong contract is understanding what makes them tick, the current travel nurse market, and an understanding of your contract. So back into the story. I had fallen into a fairly common travel nursing trap. I trusted my pushy travel nurse staffing agent pretty much blindly, even though all the signs were there. He was pushy, demanding, and always wanted things unreasonably quick. I just thought this was the norm and went along with it. I didn't have a guide or experience, so I was just trying to roll with it to get my first job. All this to put me in a stressful situation. I had quit my staff job, got out of my apartment lease, found a place to live in Denver without ever seeing it. That is a whole other topic. And then drove across the country with a boy I was newly dating. Scary, and also a story for another time. All of this to get a very entry-level travel night shift gig that paid a little over $2,300 a week. At least I was gonna make more than double my regular staff salary. So I got started on my first travel nurse contract. Work was going smoothly. I had just about settled into my new position, my new apartment, my new city. The contract gets canceled. I was mortified. I had uprooted my whole life for this. So I'm gonna cut into my story to tell you my second tip. Don't panic. Admittedly, I did panic, but I shouldn't have. Although scary at first, getting canceled is not the end of the world. For what it's worth, getting canceled is part of travel nursing. Sometimes it will happen. The good news is that we can somewhat prepare for this, and we do get paid enough that we should be able to save up an emergency piggy bank to cover the downtime and have peace of mind. So back into the story. So this contract was canceled because of staffing needs changes. I'm thinking, can they even do that? This is my first travel nurse assignment. I didn't know that was a thing. But yes, with this contract, they can certainly cancel you. The unit I was working on was an orthopedic unit. The hospital cut down on surgeries they were performing due to COVID, in turn making the census lower on the unit. Now the unit doesn't need travelers, let alone canceling shifts for some of their staff nurses. So I may not have been able to fully avoid this, but it would have helped to ask more questions about the unit, the needs, and why they were hiring travelers before I signed the contract. It is my own fault that I was blindsided. It seemed this unit panicked and hired travelers in anticipation they would see an influx of COVID patients in the winter months, when they actually didn't. Try to understand before taking a contract if you are the hospital's safety net. You don't want to be the safety net for the in-case situations. Which comes to my third point. Understand your contract and the industry. Review your contract and read the entire thing. Some companies have a cancellation policy and they'll reimburse you up to a week of expenses if you are canceled. But we do want to prepare for this by getting the right assignment up front. Know what to look for before you sign. Know what causes companies to cancel. See the writing on the wall. Why are they looking for travelers? Is it because they're short-staffed? Start getting a higher census? Do they give you a cancellation notice? Is it a 2-week notice or is it a 30-day notice? Or can they just cancel you right on the spot? My first contract had no details in it. Are guaranteed hours listed in your contract? So if you're signing a 36-hour-a-week contract, you want to have a 36-hour-a-week guaranteed hours. Or sometimes it says they can cancel you 13 times in a 13-week period, which would mean it's okay for them to cancel you 1 shift a week without pay. And that's not what you want. But if it says they're allowed to cancel you 2 times in your 13-week contract, and then they cancel you a 3rd time, they should be paying you for that shift. This is a canceled shift penalty. So I missed those 4 steps entirely. So how can I fix this? At this point, I'm already in Denver. I want to stay, and I'm not giving up that easily. I had a little extra cash saved up for events like this and had been earning double for a month. I had bought myself some time to figure this out. I reached out to every staffing agency under the sun, and as much as they were interviewing me, this time I am interviewing them. Were they helpful, calm, respectful? Were they looking out for my best interests, or did they just want to cash in that paycheck? And I'm just a deal for them to close. Even the best recruiters are still salespeople after all. I ended up finding a few opportunities within a few miles of what is still my new apartment in downtown Denver. I was a bit more picky this time, which meant I had to wait for 30 days until this next contract started. Again, a little scary since I was just floating my rent without income. Once I started this second contract, it was a lot better because it was about the same pay weekly, $2,450 a week, but this time day shifts. So much better. More reliable, they didn't cancel any of my shifts. More reliable with a contract that wasn't going to screw me over. Or at the very least, I had done my homework to understand ins and outs of the contract. This contract went smoothly. I even extended the contract a few months because I really liked Denver. So my 4th and final tip, before assignments, get your finances right. Have 6 months worth of savings. Then talk to your landlord. See if they have options for the slight chance your contract gets canceled to get out of your lease. From my experience, landlords love having travel nursing tenants. They are respectful, have a well-paying job, and keep up with their rent. They seem to be okay with taking this risk. And then get it in writing. Another tip, which I've never done, but I've heard others who keep a PRN job just in case their contract gets canceled, so they have a backup option and some steady money still coming in. Just remember, every challenge is an opportunity to learn and grow. Travel nursing is no different. By being proactive, flexible, and keeping your options open, you can turn a potentially disastrous situation into a stepping stone for success. If you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more travel nursing tips and tricks that you cannot afford to miss. Have your own contract cancellation story or tips? Share them in the comments below. Let's build a group of travel nurse besties where we can learn from each other. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video. Bye.